Welcome to the first lesson in the creation of WrapTucks Escape. Now I'm very excited for you guys to be joining me on this whole course where I'm going to show you how to create an entire game. So let's just carry on. I'm going to be as quick as possible so we can move on to the next lesson where we start building our game level. So first of all, if you don't have Unity yet, you can easily get it. It's all free and it's right on Unity's website. You can just go unity3d.com and on the main page probably there'll be a link to download the latest version for free. You don't need anything other than the free version of this software. The free version is going to allow you to build a complete game and pretty much everything you need. Let's go down and open up Unity for the first time. Unity. Alright, so when you're downloading it, it's probably going to take a little bit of time depending on your internet connection, so get started right away. First off, you're going to see this project wizard. For those of you who are just learning Unity, you can either open up the default project that comes with Unity, which is sweet if you want to get into that. It's a pretty decent game there, so you can open that up, or any other projects that you're previously working on. For this one, we're all going to create a new project so we can carry on together here. So let's first set our project directory. Obviously, you just set where you want to save this. So be patient with me. I'm going to dig through CakeGamesStudios, WrapTuck, and I'm going to put this in my tutorial series folder, and I'm going to put this in my Unity folder. I'm going to call this, look at this, I even copy and paste to save some more time, WrapTuck tutorial series. I'm going to save this. You guys can save it whatever you want, wherever you want on your computer. It's all good. So next step, we can import the following packages. For this game project, I'm pretty excited about it, we don't need any of these checked. All these are just default assets that come inside with the Unity game engine. You can get in and research what these are if you need to use them in your own games, but we don't need any of this right now. I gave you access to the artwork that you'll need to create this game and make it happen, so you don't need any of the default stuff. And set up defaults. This game is a kind of old school side scroller 2D type thing, so I'm going to set this whole to 2D. So our default project is set up for 2D, and what that means is basically whenever we import artwork, the import presets are going to set up for 2D. So it's going to say if you're importing an image, we know this is a 2D game, so it's going to set up to be defaulted to a sprite image rather than what would be used in a 3D game. And if you don't know what a sprite image is yet, we will cover that in the next lesson. So moving forward, set up defaults for 2D, all this is unchecked, you set up your path. Let's create this project. Now this is pretty cool. Looking back, by the time we get to the end of this series, this moment will be nothing compared to the last. So you're going to turn this blank canvas into a game. So let's carry on now, shall we? I'm just going to quickly go over the main windows within Unity. Our scene window here, the main window, you're going to be spending most of your time in here. This is really cool. This is where we're going to be in the next lesson, arranging and building our very first game level. So to navigate around here, it's fairly simple, especially because we're in 2D space. We only really need to zoom and pan. So to pan, there's two ways, and you can right click on your mouse and you'll see that little hand pop up. You can pan around Unity. Panning around, all good. You can also option and left click, and that'll also do the exact same thing. Now, the next thing you'll want to be able to do is to zoom. All you need to do, let's just use our trusty old scroll wheel on our mouse. Zoom out, zoom in. Another really handy feature I'm going to tag with the next little thing here. Let's get into our hierarchy pane. Now our hierarchy pane is going to show us a list. And this list is going to be of all the game objects and assets that we actually have within our game scene. So right now we have our main camera window, or our main camera game object. So this is the only thing we have in our game. And that's all well and good, so we can select it. And as we continue building our game in the next lesson, this list is probably going to have a lot more things in there. So one cool little trick I'm going to quickly show you. Say we have a game object that we don't really know where it is in our scene, or it's really small. We were just working on like a big background object or something. Let's select our main camera, pretend it's like a tiny little prop. You don't know where it is, you don't want to navigate around searching for it. Click on this object, hit F on your keyboard. It's going to frame it up and zoom right into it. So we're going to, well, I don't know, you can use it if you want to, but I personally use it quite a bit because it's super handy. Moving on to our game pane. When we click on this, you can set to basically different aspect ratios to display your game, but go back to our scene. This camera here is displaying what people are going to be seeing when we're playing our game. We have a little preview here. Since we have nothing in our game scene right now, it's just blank. So when we hit play to test our game, it's going to go to this game window, and now we're going to see what our game camera is seeing within our game. So in the next lesson, we can get in and move our camera around and preview what our game level looks like. So that's going to be really handy. We're going to spend a lot of time in there, so don't need to worry about it too much at this point. The next super important window is our inspector window. This is where we can rename our objects, tag them, set them to different layers, move their positions, add different components, rigid bodies, all this fun stuff. We're going to be using this a lot when we're applying different components to our game objects or just transforming, setting different properties. Look at that, you can go around. I'm moving my camera. I'm going to set this back to 0. Now, moving on to our project window, you will see this is a reflection of the main game project that we created to start this whole thing. I called mine WrapTucks Escape Tutorial Series. Whatever game project you create, it automatically creates an assets folder within that main project folder that it creates. Within that assets folder, this is where we import all our code, all our game artwork, and it's just reflecting that window. So rather than having to open up a new Finder window with all our game assets in there and dragging them into Unity, we can see it all in here, work within it, drag it, apply it. We're going to be creating some folders in the next lesson to store all our artwork, to keep everything organized. That's super important. We're going to go on to our console pane here. When we go to our console pane, this is going to be super handy when we're coding. Now, when we're coding, we can type in, well, we are going to be typing in a lot of testing, basically. When we're creating functions or trying things, we can type in little indicators that say, when this happens, print this to the console so I can at least know that this is working. That's a really cool way of testing your code. If there's an error in our code, C# will tell us there's something wrong. We can't even play our game because you messed something up with the code. And I'm going to try my best not to do that within this tutorial series with you guys, but we'll see what happens. So in our console, if there's ever an error, there'll be a line of code that pops up here. When we double click this, it's going to open up MonoDevelop, which is an extension of Unity where we type in our code. And it's going to open up MonoDevelop, highlight the line where the error most likely is, and we can fix it. And then when we save our code, we'll come back and the console window hopefully is cleared, and that means that we're ready to go and playtest our game. So now that we've covered the basics of Unity, we've gotten familiar with the interface, I just want to say thank you all for sticking around for this first lesson. I know this may have been slow for some people who are used to Unity so far, but I just really want to bring everyone along here. This is going to be a big course, and I want everyone to be on the same page. For those of you who have never used Unity, I hope you appreciated this quick introduction, and let's wrap this thing up here and move on and actually get into some game design. Let's start building that level. Let's start bringing in our artwork. Let's start making this thing look fun. Last thing I want to do is let's go File. I'm going to save this. Now what we want to do is we've created our project, which is our main Unity game project, and that stores all the subfolders for the assets and for our game projects, all that stuff. So we want to save this scene. Okay, and it's going to default. See, here we have WrapTucks Tutorial Series. This is the main project that we created. Within here we have our assets folder, and that's reflected in our project window that we covered there. And it just basically has all the files it needs to run a Unity project within here. But now we need to save a scene. So I'm going to set this here to WrapTucks Escape, and I'm going to say Module 1, Lesson 1. Let's add a 0 there to be cool. Okay, so I'm going to save one sequentially through every lesson, and you guys can just save it WrapTucks Escape, because if you guys are going to be following from the beginning, just keep saving as you're going. Save that out. So now my scene is created. I can open up to this point at any time I want to. Now let's move on and build our level. So thank you again for sticking around for this whole first lesson. I hope you found this helpful, and let's build up WrapTucks Escape. Thanks for watching.